What's going on, everybody? As Jim Cornette wrestles the mummy here, we're going to get right into this video. Jim Cornette and Brian Last spoke on the apparent injury for Bron Breakker, y'all. This is your boy Mick the Mark. Let's get into it right now.
Watching anything related to this modern day dreck, and then they pull this away from us. Now Bron Breakker's out with a hernia. You heard about this, I'm sure.
I did. I heard about this a few days after it happened on Raw, and we had just reviewed that segment, or you had just reviewed that segment, so let's talk about this.
Well, and I know they played the clip back, and a lot of people were commenting like, well, he didn't even sell it. Like, he didn't seem hurt or injured or whatever. When he turned that big announce desk over, and that announce desk is not balsa wood, even though they can pull pins, so to speak, and help it collapse. Yeah. It's hard shit, right? And it's heavy. It's got weight to it. And apparently now, from what I understand, that he's been dealing with a hernia for a while. And when he turned the desk over, that, I guess, graduated it from a hernia to a severe hernia. And this grosses me the fuck out, because I know somebody's going, oh, here goes Cornette. Now he's a fucking doctor. I'm speaking from experience. And I don't know exactly where it is. I haven't examined Bron, but the definition, a hernia, for people who don't actually know what happens, if you strain in some way or are in some way either mashed or strain yourself lifting heavy weights, that type of thing, athletic activity, your intestines can pop through your abdominal wall. And most of the time in guys, this happens in your crotchal area.
Yeah, up to your belly button area.
When I was a teenager, and I don't actually know what happened, which I'll get into in a second, because you cannot. But then I had that one. Remember, Brian, I think I've told you, when I was working with Bob Armstrong in Knoxville at like 25 years ago, I threw powder at his eyes to get the advantage, and then he made a comeback on me, and he was going to give me the big stomp. And when he went, his push-off foot slipped in the powder that I'd thrown, and he came down ass first in my midsection, and it popped out my fucking the same side on the hernia. And it can either, depending on how it is, how it happens, how bad it is, what the fuck, you cannot really know it happened and then discover it later, or you can instantly be in goddamn excruciating pain. Or you might, they said he's been working with it. Who knows how long he's had it, but it can not be any trouble. It can be an elective thing, or it can actually be an emergency thing where if the intestine is gripped tightly enough in the fucking place that it's poked through, bleh, then it can cut off the blood and kill the fucking intestine, and you got to have emergency surgery right away, blah, blah, blah. So it's a fucking miserable thing, I can assure you that. But
I have a cousin that deals with, was born with a hernia. You have to be very careful. First of all, you shouldn't be lifting them heavy broadcast desks. Especially if it's been bothering you for a long time. There's certain things he probably shouldn't have done. But like you said, he probably did it, and it wasn't uncomfortable for him at the moment. You know, he probably had adrenaline running through because he had to lift that desk, and he probably got to the back and was like, oh, my God, my hernia. It happens around, our mid bodies, as far as our lower extremities, the crotch area, the pelvic area, up until the stomach and belly button area is usually where men have the problem.
There still may be a chance for him at WrestleMania, being a 20-something-year-old fucking athletic freak. For when I was a teenager, a couple weeks, and I was up and about and driving, and had just started in the wrestling business by the time I got it fixed and was bumping and feeling fine. At 25 years ago, you may have seen the clip. Brian, I used it. I was doing OVW television, and I said that I was attacked by the heel group of mystery that turned out to be Doug Basham and those guys. And I showed my scar when I saw as much as I could without getting us kicked off television. But I had 18 surgical staples from about 2 inches from my dick all the way up to my hip bone.
Mm.
So you can come back to normal activity in a few weeks or whatever, but I don't know to be that athletic whether that's it's cutting it close at best is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
But
we're about
God
2
damn
months.
it's a miserable.
We're about 2 months away from WrestleMania in Vegas, and I know he would hate to miss that show. It's WrestleMania, it's your biggest payday. It's in one of the greatest cities in the world. You want to be a part of that. And he's been working with it for a while. I would have just been careful not to overextend myself to after WrestleMania.
Miserable fucking thing. He won't be able to cough or sneeze or fucking blow his nose without his crotch feeling like it's on fire.
Mm.
Is that something that once it happens the first time, it not more than likely, but it's more common to happen a second time?
Well, no, not with getting the best doctors. If he was going to Hernias R Us, you see the commercials all the time for fucking. If your hernia mesh is pulled loose and a fucking alien's peeping its head out of your crotch, call 800. Fuck you, we'll sue. Whatever. With a professional athlete and having high quality doctors doing the surgery, I don't know that it will be necessarily any more susceptible than he was. It's just sometimes, from what I was told by my first doctor, you're born with just a thinner wall in some places, and that's why some athletes can lift tremendous amounts, not have any problems, and other just regular people fucking strain and goddamn pop their shit out. So but I think he'll be okay as long as he's okay for WrestleMania.
Yeah, you don't want to base radio. Hopefully, because he's one of the WWE's very best. He gets to be a part of WrestleMania. He's one of my favorites, and with the way he moves, the things he can do athletically, Bron Breakker is a future WWE champion, and probably sooner than later. I say within the next year, that championship should be around Bron Breakker's waist. But that's just to Mick the Mark's opinion. What do you guys think about this injury and Jim Cornette's explanation of the injury and how things should go? And do you think he'll be ready for WrestleMania? Oh, guys, and don't forget, I want to start going live doing Raw and SmackDown, but I still need 15 more subscribers. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel, Mick the Mark. Tell your friends about Mick the Mark if you're wrestling fans. I am a wrestling fan and pretty much a wrestling historian. So we'll be getting into a lot of classic wrestling as well as the new stuff, WWE, AEW, things going on in Mexico and Japan or what have you. We'll check it all out. But this is your boy Mick the Mark, and I am outgone for now. Peace out.